Today we're talking about why I purchased the Lumix S1H in 2022. But first, if you're new to the channel, my name is Anson, and on this channel we talk about filmmaking, specifically budget gear, tutorials, and a look at the projects that I'm working on. So if that's something you're into, consider subscribing. Over the last year or so, I've been searching for a camera to pick up in place of the Pocket 6K Pro, just because I was not really having a great experience with that camera. And so that opened up the dialogue of possibly moving systems and picking up a different camera. Well, after long debate, I did finally decide to go with the Lumix S1H. And I do want to talk about why I did that. And there's quite a bit of reasons. So we're going to go ahead and dive on into my reasons of why I picked up the S1H in 2022, and maybe with these reasons, is it a good camera for you to pick up in 2022? So the first reason for me of why I picked up the S1H in 2022 is because it is a full frame camera. I've used Micro Four Thirds, I've used Super 35, and ultimately I really just like that full frame look. You have a little bit wider look in your frame without having to go with like an ultra wide lens. Being able to put a 20mm lens on this camera and having that ultra wide look is a really nice thing. And obviously on top of that, I want all the bokeh I can get, so full frame it is. But obviously there are a ton of full frame cameras on the market, even at this price point. And so another reason why I picked up the S1H was because of its 6K resolution. Now one can say resolution's not everything, and I agree with you. But for me, I do like having the extra resolution if I want to crop in and post without losing a ton of image quality. And so that's something that appeals to me, is that 6K resolution. And on top of that, it does have 4K 60, which is really great for me as I do a lot of product shots. 4K 60 is almost a must for my YouTube setup, just because I like to do slow motion as well as punch in and post. And so that's something that appeals to me as well. Now, in talking about the fact that there are plenty of other full frame cameras on the market, the couple reasons why I chose the S1H over some Sony cameras comes down to colors as well as features that caters more to filmmakers. In my opinion, I want to give that clarification that it doesn't objectively cater to filmmakers, because that's a wide variety of people. And so a Sony camera may fit your needs as a filmmaker more than a Panasonic camera. So that's why I want to put that clarification of in my opinion. So as far as colors, I've always preferred Lumix and Panasonic colors over Sony colors, just because I feel like the color science is a little bit better than something that Sony offers. Sony's getting really good with color science, but I still feel like cameras like the S1H or the S5 have a little bit better colors than the Sony a7S III or FX3 or even the a7 IV that has come out. I'm sorry, fight me in the comments. It is what it is. So then the question becomes is, why didn't I save some money and go with the S5? And there were a couple of reasons why I chose the S1H over the S5. And there's smaller reasons, but still valid reasons nonetheless. One is that the screen does do a tilt up rather than having to flip out and tilt up that way. The other thing is a full-size HDMI. The S5 has a micro HDMI. I have that on the Sigma FP, and I can't tell you how many HDMI cables I've broken because that micro HDMI connection is just not the most secure connection. And so having a full-size HDMI is a little bit better in my opinion than having a micro HDMI. And so that's one reason I went with the S1H over the S5. So hopefully those couple reasons they'll answer why I didn't go with a Sony camera, or potentially even the S5 that's a little bit cheaper than the S1H. Let's talk about some other reasons why I chose the S1H as well. One being, in general, it is in the LMount Alliance. If you guys follow the channel, you know that I shoot with the Sigma FP. I shoot with that camera a ton, and I do a lot of reviews for Sigma with their LMount lenses. And so being able to have another camera to review these LMount lenses with and just have the same lens mount just makes life a little bit easier. Now the question may come up, why didn't I just get another FP? Well, that is simply because I needed something like 4K 60, a little bit higher resolution. And I do like the minimalist options I have with the S1H. I've been doing a lot of behind the scenes filmmaking lately. Like that's really what I'm doing outside of YouTube as of right now, and having this minimalist style of the S1H, which has IBIS. That's another reason why I wouldn't choose another FP, is because I do now have the option for IBIS. And if I don't want to shoot RAW, I can literally just take the camera, start shooting. I don't need a huge setup with it. I just have this super minimalist setup with the S1H, just camera and lens, and I'm ready to go. And then finally, one of the reasons I bought the S1H is because it does shoot BRoll externally. This is another feature that helps me be unified, being that the FP does shoot in BRoll externally as well. Simply enough, it just helps keep things simple, having a very similar workflow between the S1H and the Sigma FP. And so the fact that the S1H does shoot BRoll is the last and final reason why I did pick up the S1H in 2022. And so with that, do I think that this is a good camera for you to buy in 2022? And really and truthfully, I can't answer that question. Cameras are so subjective to what you're shooting. I get questions all the time about what camera is the best, and automatically people want to say, oh, Blackmagic or oh, Sony, but it really depends on what you're filming. It is so subjective to what you're filming of what camera works best for you. Now, for me, the S1H was a clear winner when it came to deciding for a new camera, but if the reasons I listed don't line up to what you're looking for in a camera, then this may not be the camera for you. But on the contrary, if they do align with what you're looking for in a camera, and if they do all just check all the boxes that you're looking for in a camera, then maybe the S1H is a great camera for you in 2022. Really, whatever makes the most sense for you, go with that. I can tell you why I bought the camera in 2022, but I can't tell you if this is the best camera for you to buy in 2022. Only you can answer that question. So that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to give it a like. And if you're digging the overall content from the channel, consider subscribing. As always, if you do have any more questions, let me know in the comments below. Thank you all for joining. Go and find your journey. Go embrace life. Stay safe, be happy, support each other. Wash those hands, and I'll see you here next time. Peace.